Alright, and we're back. What is up, YouTube? So I just want to get on here and talk about why the Aprilia RSV4 and why I chose it over the ZX10 when I was looking at a leader bike. God, just look at that in front of that A10, man. Oh, that looks good. Anyways, so it all started earlier this year. One of my buddies showed up to my house. My buddy that had a Grom, he called me. He's like, hey, can I come over? I'm like, yeah, sure. He shows up in my driveway with a CBR 1000-R Fireblade SP. I am absolutely in love with this bike, for one. Let's just start out that the options weren't bad. Okay, it was between this and a ZX10. That was where I was at. I know I wanted to upgrade to a leader bike. I've been riding for years. It was that time. I was in the market. I was looking at ZX10s. And I was looking at some old ones, but for the leader bike, you know, anything with that much horsepower to the wheel, I kind of wanted traction control on the street. I wanted traction control and I wanted cruise control. Those were my two big things for getting a leader bike for street riding. I use that little stick thing on my 636. I bought that little aftermarket one, and it chews up my brake lever. I wanted actual cruise control and not the fake that I had been running with. I was looking at ZX10s. I'm a big Cowie guy. I've been a big Cowie guy all my life. Started on 250. I had two 636s. I was really looking at Cowies, mainly the ZX10 because I wanted a leader bike. So I was looking at the previous generation double Rs and the current generation regular ZX10Rs, $17,000, $18,000 bikes. And one of my buddies has a VFR 800, which is a Honda Sport Touring. It's like a 780cc V4. It sounds amazing. Another one of my buddies bought it as well. They both sound really good. So naturally, when I was infatuated with that sound, I was like, oh my god, they sound so good. I kind of want a V4, but I don't want Ducati. Nothing against Ducati. It's just they're outrageously expensive, way out of my budget, honestly. And when I was looking into it, I found out actually that their V4s are basically two parallel twins that shut down one section. So the pistons under the seat will actually do cylinder deactivation for better fuel runs. Too much to put on something that if it fails, it can kill you. It's only a 4-cylinder, like what, do you really need cylinder deactivation? Not to mention the price and everything that went. Plus Italian reliability, as I say that riding an Aprilia. Well, so then my friends were like, you should really check out the Aprilia. I think you'd like the RSV4, yada, yada, yada. And I was dead set against it. I was so against Italian reliability, I wouldn't even look at this bike. That's a mistake. Don't ever let your personal beliefs keep you away from something that you may end up loving. Because I was dead set wrong. What ended up happening was Labor Day weekend, my buddies kidnapped me, took me to Iron Pony, and I ended up sitting on some of the bikes, and the comfort of this over the ZX10 was so much better. Like my riding position, the rider triangle for me, absolutely perfect. The stock peg location is amazing for me. I'm 5'11", and this bike could not be more perfect positioning wise. I sit somewhat upright. I'm not like super hunched over in my relaxed cruising position. Full tuck feels good. It's not stressful on me at all. And I'm gonna come over here and park in front of these gorgeous aircraft. So anyways, my friends kidnapped me, took me to Iron Pony, sat on the bike, absolutely fell in love. So that following Monday, we went to a track day at Mid-Ohio. Now we weren't running our bikes, but we did ride our bikes there. We had a buddy that was riding his bike. Basically, what was going on was we went to not only to support him, and we kind of wanted to learn more about the track days. So we got a bunch of information, but while we were there was a Toruno running on the track, a V4 Toruno, and then there was a V4 Toruno in the pits that was cold. Guy hadn't been running it. He bought a ZX10 fully decked out track bike that he was running. But he was willing to start that bike for me, and he had the SP exhaust, the shorty one. And oh my god, the cold start on that thing was the most angry, gnarly sounding motorcycle I'd ever heard in my life. And in that moment, solidified it. I was like, oh my god, I want this bike. Not the Toruno, but the RSV4, because I want the full fairing. But the sound this thing makes was just unlike anything I'd ever heard. And I know, like, Yamahas sound amazing. Yamaha with the crossplane crank and the Aprilias were the best sounding bikes. Everyone argues, oh, what about the Ducatis? Because there were more Ducatis at the track than anything else. The problem with the Ducatis, that dry clutch is so ungodly loud, and I do not like the sound of it. Put a wet clutch on it, it's fine, but I'm not a fan of the dry clutch on the Ducatis. So, I'm going to pass on Ducatis. Now, with that being said, when I was at Iron Pony, I did sit on Ducatis too. And I will say the kickstand location so far tucked up under the bike that I had no confidence with it. I had to be like halfway off the bike to make sure the kickstand was down. It was so uncomfortable. This is a $35,000 bike and I don't want to drop it. So anyways, I went from not even looking at these, and then in 2 days, like, okay, doing as much research as I possibly could about this bike and about Aprilia. And one of my big things was reliability. You know, being a Cali guy, they're really reliable. They've built a tradition of that. I really wanted to dig into Aprilias, so I did. And ever since they came out with this bike, first generation of the RSV4 had its hiccups. But after that, they worked out so many issues to the fact where this has become one of the most reliable European superbikes on the market, if not the most reliable European superbike. More reliable than the BMWs, more reliable than the Ducatis. I mean, when it comes to superbikes anyways. Put up against Honda and Kawasaki and Yamaha and Suzuki, it's pretty competitive from what I heard when it comes to reliability. There's not much consistent issues with these bikes. So that really sold that part for me, doing that research. And then I started doing some more research. But before I get into that, I'm going to start this thing up again. Oh, look at that display. Be a racer. Oh, that sound. Oh, this sounds so good. Anyways, so there's another thing I found out. As I was doing research, you know, I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos, and one thing that I found that made me think Aprilia as a company may just be one of the best motorcycle companies out there. And that's the fact that they've given away bikes to YouTubers. So, 650E, he's got a black and gold RSV4 that was gifted to him. It's this generation. It was either a 22 or 23. I don't know if it was like just a local Aprilia dealer that he knew gave it to him, or if it was a gift from Aprilia themselves. But either way, he got gifted an RSV4 factory. When I did my RSV4 factory like pricing and stuff, it was like right around $29,000. So basically a $30,000 motorcycle just gifted to him. And it was a special edition version. It wasn't just like your, oh, it's just RSV5. It's the RSV4, I want to say they call it Black Edition. It's either they call it Black Edition or Gold Edition. One of the two, but it's like black and gold, and it looks gorgeous. It's actually probably one of my favorite color patterns for the RSV4s, and they only made them for the factories. The dealership where I bought this at, one of the service techs had one. Gorgeous bike. So anyway, so 650 got gifted one. Also, Yami Noob was looking for, ooh, is that a Gixxer? Yami Noob was looking for a Tuareg, or looking at the Tuaregs, the 660 Tuaregs, and he didn't like the prices. He tried to get a discount. He contacted Aprilia for a discount. Nice. So Yami Noob didn't like the prices of the Tuaregs. He thought they were a little bit pricier than what the 660 Tuareg than what he wanted. And they go for around $13,000. So he reached out to a Aprilia customer service rep and asked if they had like any kind of discounts or rebates he could get. And they kicked back, build one from this spec sheet and we'll gift it to you. So he literally got the color patterns he wanted. Basically, he built his Tuareg. And he honestly didn't think it was going to happen until he got a call from the local dealer that he was working with originally and looking at one. They called him and said, hey, your Tuareg's here for pickup. And he went down there and drove it off the lot. So it's a company that understands modern day marketing, where these influencers that have these huge followings like 650 and Yami Noob and the Bikes and Beards guys, where they make these motorcycle review videos These are the people that you want to be reviewing your stuff if you know your quality product. And they're going to be straightforward and honest with everybody that sends them something. For a company to just go, oh, you're looking at buying one of our bikes and you just want a discount, I will just give you one for free. For them to be able to just do that, like, oh, here you go, that is amazing. Marketing now is basically YouTube. They realize that, well, if we do this stuff with YouTubers and they'll write reviews, they'll make videos of our product, and more people will be interested in buying it. For a company that understands this is amazing. And they're not so nitpicky and snobby. For an Italian brand to not have that arrogance, to have worked out the reliability issues, and to make a bike that just sounds so good stock, and it performs amazing. Features on this bike are crazy. I've got 6 rider modes, 3 for the street, 3 for the track. It's got user, street, which is basically all of my rider aids turned all the way up, like rain mode. Then it's got sport mode, which has them turned down. Neither street nor sport are customizable except for your traction control, which you can do on the fly. And then it's got user, which is 100% customizable. Just to have those features on street riding mode, it's becoming the standard. But they went one step above that and went, oh, we're going to give you a whole separate menu of modes that changes some of your controls. So my cruise control is right here, right? This is my cruise control. Do this, I hold it over, it turns on the cruise control. You have to be in 4th gear above 40 miles an hour. I set it and I'm locked in cruise control. When I switch this bike to the track settings, and there's 3 of them, track 1, track 2, and race. Race is only non-customizable. On track 1 and 2 are completely customizable. When I switch to the race settings, this becomes your lap timer, because you don't need cruise control while you're on a racetrack. Who's running cruise control on a racetrack? Absolutely love that. There are a few things that I don't like, and they're very minor. Where's my lean indicator? I don't have my lean indicator. So my buddy on his Fireblade is, you know, saying, oh, I hit 30 degrees on that turn, or I hit 40 degrees on the turn. I know what I hit. Let me get my phone and get an app going that shows that, and I can tell you. The amount of stuff that this has comparative to the Suzuki's GX1000, the Yamaha R1, the ZX10R, and CBR 1000 RR, that's the same price range as this. And it's rolling out features and performance that you wouldn't get on the entry-level 1000s. You're getting them on your premium 1000s from Japan for the same price as the entry, which for an Italian brand that has worked out reliability issues, to come out with that and to sound like that, my God, can't beat this bike for the price range. You can't. There is no bike on the market that for the dollar amount beats this. Bang for bang, buck for buck. This has the most horsepower, has the best performance, the best features, and it sounds absolutely amazing. Well, that's going to conclude this video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please like and subscribe. If not, then please leave a comment down below on where you think I can improve on. Thanks for joining me, and I'll end things off with this nice little twisty road.